Hey YouTube, what's going on? I'm back with another tutorial. This time I'm going to be teaching you, it's going to be basically an intro into programming, and we're going to be using the programming language Java today. Now, probably heard the term Java, maybe you've heard JavaScript. Right out the bat, I'm just going to get a couple things out of the way. Java is not JavaScript. Java is a compiled language, and JavaScript is a scripting language. What that essentially means is scripting languages have no system access. That's the easiest way to explain them. They run in separate clients such as a browser, which is the case with JavaScript. And the coding and syntax are completely different. But today we're going to learn how to make a Java application. Now, before I get too much into this, Java is a very powerful platform. It's a cross-platform development environment, in fact. Java applications will run on Mac, Linux, Windows, of course, and even Android smartphones applications are based off of Java. And today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a GUI Java application that will be cross-platform. And in fact, we're going to use the Android development kit for it, though. So go ahead and just pay attention, and I'm going to show you how we'll do that. So in order to program in Java, you're going to need an IDE. The IDE that I like to use for Java is Eclipse. Now, you can use something like NetBeans. I don't particularly like it, so I'm going to show you how to use it with Eclipse with the Android development stuff already built in. So if you search in Google for Android SDK, the first thing that comes up is developer.android.com/SDK. There's a download link right here. Go ahead and click on that, download the package, unzip it, and then you'll have the IDE, which I'll show you in a minute. You're also going to need, once you get that, you're going to need to get this. It's an extension called Window Builder that helps you create GUIs with Java. It's basically what you see is what you get, which is very rare in Java. You can code a GUI by hand in Java. I don't recommend it. It's time consuming and tedious. So in order to get Window Builder, what you do is go to Developers. Search developers Google, and it'll get you to googledevelopers.com or developers.google.com. In the search bar, you're going to type window, not Windows, but you're going to type window and then builder. Now, you're going to need to copy a link that you're going to see on this page. It's going to be the first thing to click is installing Windows Builder Pro or Window Builder Pro. Wait for it to load up. And then right here where it says Eclipse 3.7 Indigo, you're going to copy this. You're going to need it later. Just remember that you're going to need that text. So go ahead and throw it in a text editor or something like that. Also, a few other things you will need to start programming in Java. Just in case they're not already installed on your system, I'll show you how to get them. If you go to ninite.com, that's NINITE.com, the really great installer package here is you're going to need the runtime for Java. So if you look under runtimes, there's Java and .NET. You will need .NET for my C# and Visual Basic tutorials, so you might as well grab that now. And they got developer tools, and right here there's Eclipse. We don't need Eclipse today though, but you do need the JDK. So go ahead and download the JDK, Java runtime, and .NET if you want it for the C# and Visual Basic tutorials. So, now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into the application when it shows up. So it's going to come in a zipped package, and you uninstall it to wherever you want. I uninstall it to my desktop. You're going to click here, and you're going to click Eclipse, and it's going to run it. And you'll see it's got the Android developer tools. This is what we're going to be using to make Java applications, as well as Android applications in later tutorials. Let's just give it a second while it loads up. I don't plan on using many pauses in this video. Figure everything can be done pretty quickly, so I'm just going to let it run for a second. This should only take a minute or less. There you go. So I already have an application I've been working on. Let's go ahead and scrap them though. I'm just going to right click these. Whoop. Let's see what I did here. Go into reset perspective, just so you see that it just resets the view to standard, what it normally is. I'm just going to delete these projects because I don't need them anymore. They were for a tutorial, but I didn't like the way it turned out. So let me just get rid of these and show you it without any clutter. Okay, so you remember that link I had you copy earlier? Once this is open, you're going to want to click on Help, then go to Install New Software. And then here where it says Work With, you're going to click Add. You're going to type Window Builder here. So you just do Window Builder. And then that address, you copy and paste it right here. I don't have it up anymore, but you just copy and paste, click OK. It's going to give you a selection of boxes. I'm going to show you what those are in just a second. I already have it pre-installed, so I'm just going to click on it to show you. You're going to see these boxes. You just want to click Select All. Leave everything else as is, and then just click Next, and it's going to go through, check all the requirements. You're going to make sure all these are checked, and then you're going to click Finish, and it's going to go through the install. Mine's already done, so now I get to go show you how to make a Java application. We're going to do our first GUI right now. So if you go to File, then New, and click on Java Project, and we'll call our project Hello YouTube. And all this is fine. You can leave it the same as what it defaults as. In fact, for some reason it doesn't like the space or the YouTube because I already have an app called that. So we'll just call it Hello World for now. And Hello World, you're going to see, is something that's used by almost every programming tutorial because it's just a basic way of getting output from your computer. It's usually the first thing that you'll write. So everything's set to the defaults. Just click on Next and then click Finish. So what's going to happen is here you'll have your Hello World application, and if you click this Run button that does a debug, we'll run it as a Java application. It doesn't do anything because it doesn't have what's called a main. Now, I could create a main, and I could get a result here, and a main is just a main class. But I'm going to show you how to get right into a GUI. So if you right click here and click New, and then click Other, and then you're seeing it's going to have Window Builder there now. Click on Window Builder, and then JFrame. Click Next, and the name of it, we're just going to call this class Start. And then source folder, everything should be the same. Just go ahead and click Finish. And it's going to generate code for you. This is really cool because normally you'd have to code this all by hand. This is the main I was talking about. And a lot of things can go into the main. Usually that's where you'd write like a Hello World. But we want it to do a little bit more. So this is the method that's been created to construct the JFrame for us. And a JFrame is Java's version of just a GUI, and when you click that Run button, now we have a GUI. But we want to do something with it, so I'm going to show you how to get your first basic reaction out of a program. So if you click this Design button, which will only be here if you've installed that Window Builder, which is kind of nice. It's going to give you a few options. It's going to create everything for you. It's going to load up a little template. And you can see your frame right there. Now before you can throw anything in here, you can't just go throwing boxes and panels in there. It's not going to work. You need to set the layout. You can do that by right clicking and then click Set Layout. I like to use Absolute. That's where you pick every single detail. I mean, it's up to you. You can use fixed layouts, but I just like Absolute. So what I'm doing here is we're just going to take a button and drag it onto the page, and we'll call that button Submit. So now we have a Submit button, and when we click on it, it'll take us to the code for that button, but it won't actually do anything yet. So because we're going to need to create an event handler. So see, there you go. When I double clicked on it, it automatically creates an event handler for a button click. Now you can also create a handler for by right clicking and then going to add event, and then action performed. But it's already there because it'll understand the double click, fortunately. Now that's not going to do much of anything right now though. I mean, we can make it have like an alert box pop up, a little message box, but I want to actually do something a little more visual. So what we're going to do is see this J label, we're going to drag that on there, and that's how much text it's going to take up, like how large it is. You can resize that, so we're just going to make it the same size as the button right now. But that text of it is actually saying new label. So when we run the program, we have a button that's going to say submit, but there's going to be new label in the middle of the page, and when we click it, nothing will happen. I don't want it to say a new label though. I'd prefer it just not to say anything at this point. So if you look at the structure, you can see the properties of your program, and if we click on that new label, so we get the variable name. It's variable, or it's label, new label. We'll leave it at that for now. We'll go over that a little bit more, but the text I'm going to get rid of. So now that text is gone. Now I could do the same thing for submit. I could say like submit to, and it'll change that, but I want to keep that as submit, so we're just going to change that back. So now let's get into the actual code. So what I want to do is make that label change when I click the button to say hello world. In order to do that, I'm going to need to get that label's name. So it's already in the code because the value's there. I like to grab a lot of things right from my code if I can. And let me see one thing real quick. Okay. So we're going to use that variable name, and then we'll use .set text. And nothing's coming up for me, as you can see when I do that. It should auto-populate. The reason it's not doing that is because the button was generated before the label. So in order to get that, because it does read linearly, similar to JavaScript, if I just throw this up here, it should read that now. So I just cut it out of there and moved it up here. The same code, it'll look exactly the same when I run it. Say the text box value is gone, I could make it say hi in there, and then it'll say hi, as you can see, but I don't want it to say hi. I want it to be blank. You can change the size. You can do all this in code. The designer's just there to help you. So, but now I want to actually change this label to say hello world. So I'm going to put that, and I'm going to use .set text. Now set text is similar to .text in C# and VB. The only difference is the syntax. So as you can see, it's very similar in structure to C#. Just remember there's a few things that are different. So for example, you won't use .text and equals or .text in the parentheses. You would just use .set text, and then you got your variable value here. So we're going to set that text to hello world, and as always, master of hide and seek, the semicolon. Don't forget it in Java. It's very important that you use it. You know, VB doesn't require it, but C# does. Just remember, most languages or more advanced languages usually require that semicolon. But as you can see, I'm throwing an error here. It's telling me that it can't work. So let's see why. So if we hover over this, it'll give us a few options. So we have one quick fix available, and let's see why it's not working. It cannot refer to non-final variable as an interclass definition defined in a different method. Okay, so because this is defined in a different method, it's not allowing us to do it. So a quick fix, usually you can go with it. Sometimes it's better to actually modify them yourself, but we're going to go with the quick fix for now and just change that variable to final. So now it's a final J label, and now I'm not getting any errors. Now I am getting some formatting errors, so I could add a default serial version to there. Now that's gone. And border layout, let me see what's actually causing this one. Okay, it just wasn't used, so we removed it. And you could also click these alert buttons in Eclipse, which I really like, and they'll give you options for fixing things. So we can use like add default serial ID version, and then I'll take that away. And what's nice about Eclipse is it shows you where your errors exist in your code on this bar as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Great, now we don't have any errors. Let's go ahead and run our program and see what happens. So now if I click submit, I get a hello world. So we have our first application. Now you might be saying, okay, great, so where is my app? I always got to run it by clicking here. No, you don't. There's a couple things you can do to actually get this, I guess you could say, into development. We're going to export it, and you want to export it as Java. You could do a jar file or a runnable jar file. I'm just going to do a runnable jar file for now. It does need some parameters, so we're going to do, this is one from a different configuration, but this is the one we're using right now, the hello world, so you just match it up. And I want to save right there to my desktop. And you always extract the required libraries into the jar as well. It makes it easier for it to run later. So if I click finish, it's asking me if I want to override it because I've done it before. So now I should have an application on my desktop. So I have WinRAR installed right now, and it doesn't really like jars, or it thinks it can extract them, and technically it can, but I don't want to extract it. I want to actually run it as an app. So yeah, you can see it'll have all my class info and things like that, but I want to actually just run the jar with the Java tools that are installed on my computer already. So we're going to open it with that, and there you go. So that's your first GUI application. You could make that, email it to your friends, whatever, and you know, it's there. So if you found this tutorial useful, if you'd like to see more, please like, comment for the things you'd like to see, and make sure to subscribe. Thanks again for tuning into my videos. I do appreciate it. I will be updating my C# tutorial soon, and also I'll be doing a comparison video. It's going to be pretty long probably, of at least 3 languages. I plan on comparing Java, VB, C#, possibly C++ as well, maybe Ruby, and definitely JavaScript and HTML as well, just so that there's a clear understanding of how these different languages work, the difference between like a compiled language, a markup language, a scripting language. And that's going to be it for today. So again, thanks for tuning in.